similar throughout the entirety of the map pool. I don't think that there's going to be the heaviest of leans when it comes into this one. This is still a map I would always be very terrified to try and face off against the likes of Mech on, though. Their defensive side is formidable. It's one where I think all the players are very comfortable on their agents, and it's one where I feel like Guild still mix things up a little bit with Trex not being on the duelist like on other maps.
It could be a little bit of a grind for Meg to pick up those attacking rounds, but Nat's already down to start. That's a bit of a problem, but Safe could be trapped here. He's got some support from the doors, but players coming down from elbow, causing some trouble. It's Chronicle showing up again, coming in with a 3K in the pistol, kicking things off on that chamber. And a 3v2 now. This Guild will try to recover this one, but they've got no info on where these players have gone.
Yeah, Chronicle doesn't like to miss out on a Masters. He missed out on one last year. It didn't happen again. He's missed out on one this year. I don't think he wants to let it happen again. Already managing to retrieve himself a ghost, so already basically getting back to the upgrade he would have had at the beginning. You're starting to see Leo probe his way through. Now, information few and far between, at least at the moment, because Mech have really slowed things down.
A lot of battle going down on Matrix. He just goes flying out. Makes a double. What's going on there? 19 HP left. Leo's just barely holding on to life. He's being blinded. That right click. One bullet's more than enough to take him down, but none of them land. Around the wall, Shados goes. He's going to try the plant, but Leo's caught him. Actually won out the round. That's 1-0 for Guild. Safe started it out with some decent aggression. I thought Chronicle had done enough to win that, though.
They probably should have done. Let's be honest. Like, you look at how things went throughout the rest of the round, like being able to find this multi-frag fighting into mid, and then even just the fact that right at the end, you put Mr. Clutch in that final situation in the form of Shados, and he just needed to hit one bullet. I'll be honest, we're one round in, and I'm already starting to get to the point where I'm thinking I'm not going to make it through this series. We have Fnatic FPX up. We have Fnatic FPX after this one, Mitch. Like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to be able to cope.
And it feels like old EMEA, Fnatic FPX looking to qualify Guild, one game away from qualifying. That's a story I've heard so many times in the past. These poor guys in Season 1. Not the same guys exactly, but, well, Leo knows what I'm talking about. Last bastion of it. Chronicle lit up quite a bit here, but they've already done some damage. Look, a little bit more would be fantastic, and he was their best chance having that headhunter in his hand. Now that he's down, it should be a little bit easier for Guild to close this out, but you still got those sheriffs to worry about, and they could get up to some trouble, especially because there's the 3 players grouped up together, right? And they got a 3v1 fight, drop another weapon. It could be a successful round overall.
I feel like these are the sort of rounds when Nats always gets something. Like, it's a map as well where he's just able to find so much space, and I think that's the real danger with someone of his sort of lurking capabilities. One thing I will say, and it's something I think we have to mention going into this series, is that Guild are one of the heaviest prep teams. Like, they are very good at sort of countering out specific plays that people will make. The only problem is I feel like that would have been easier versus any other team. And, well, for now at least, they're doing a decent job of just recovering things. Spike may make its way to the site. I think the only man that could have stopped that would have been Leo, and well, he has taken out Nats at least.
Yeah, the big danger's dealt with. They know where Redgar is. He just planted the spike, of course, but that ended well. Look, the fact that they get a kill, they get a plant, it's so-so. The next round is really what matters, and I think Chronicle farming up a couple of those kills in pistol. He would have liked to walk out with a little bit more here, get towards that tour de force. It could obviously be a difference maker for them. A 2-0 start in the defense. Perfect for Guild, like we said. I want to see them build up that early lead, get their defense off to a good start. And this bonus round, it has the Bulldog to it. It has the Marshal there as well. That can make the Spectres so much more viable. Give Cole Dementa the one shot to the body on these players. There's a lot of danger here for Mech in pushing in. And then you think about these rounds. That's normally where you start to push up. And Guild have already shown their willingness to do that in the pistol with Safe. So now that there's a couple of disadvantages there, I'm expecting that Mech won't have an easy time.
No, I guess what I will say is comparable to, say, FPX, for example. They haven't, like, sort of gambled in to make sure they have extra rifles. So there is only the one rifle onto Leo, which it's going to make things a little bit more difficult in some of these range battles. And sort of, as you said, it means they have to almost gamble, take a little bit of map control, make things a bit more awkward for Mech, because you don't want to allow them to play into these sort of rounds. Again, though, as we know, when it comes to their attacking sides, very, very heavy reliance on Defo. I've seen many people talking about this man's stats even more recently, and the fact is, his stats really don't matter that much. It's whether or not he can get you in.
So this is interesting. Guild have a 3-man hold of B. They've got every angle. They can at least duo peek it in towards mid. They can triple, but if they lose that one, then they're in trouble because now spawn is open. Leo's got to go back and watch it, and because they'd stacked up here, they have nobody else to cover off this A site. And with the wall up as well, Mech are able to easily walk in there. The wall means their pace is going to be that much quicker as well, not having to clear that spawn angle. They get in, grab a plant, cautious of cave, and Shados is here to clean up the guys coming through mid, has support from door, and that's the key thing, Tom. They're not leaving Shados here isolated by himself. They're trying to give him that little bit of cover that if he gets crunched on, he can be helped, but when he's crossing to the doors, he's being dropped. So a little bit of damage here from Guild, but it's not enough. They need a little bit more chipped away, or to save these weapons.
Yeah, I think Leo, there's not really any value bringing that into the next round. The money he'll get will allow him the upgrade, but for safe, any kills he can get is closer to the Blade Storm. It's an economic boost, but also a detriment to the other side of things. One thing I really want to bring in, though, about this round, it ties in a little bit to what you were saying with the players sort of playing off each other in mid and even checking into cave. It's just the awareness of Mech, and it's something I've really enjoyed, at least over the last couple of days. If you actually watch the way Redgar plays, even though they have a trap down, he still keeps an eye on that angle, because what actually happened in this round specifically was Coldamenta used his poison orb, smoked off the trap, bypassed the trap, and then still got shot in the head because Redgar was like, well, just in case someone goes past the trap, I'm going to keep an eye on it anyway. I feel like that's not a thing that a team will normally do, but it's just they're so well structured in their default hold, and they were expecting aggression, as we sort of mentioned, that they were very, very well prepared, even past their own utility.
This is where the bigger challenge comes into play, though, Tom. Lots of money, lots of credits stacked up there on Guild now as they come back in and actually get that buy, that power-up, and the operator in the hands is safe. It's looking for someone on mid, but all the pressure's on B. Mech grouped up here. They're looking to get in very quickly indeed. Defo already up on top, and he's being revealed on his way through. Russ tries to deal with him, but gets caught by Chronicle, and now a bit of a problem emerges. Leo was walled off just moments ago. His teammates couldn't cover him at all, but now they're there to help and fire from afar. Trex is in with one good shot start. Leo doing damage, trying to support his teammates, but now he's going to go for the fight. Now he's going to shoehorn this, and Chronicles pop the ulti. He's just panic stations. Tour de Force is out, and he's going to try to secure this angle, get the fight. Leo's caught up top. So Coldamenta sneaking up close is now their best chance. That off, trying to catch an angle from afar, but it's just not given one, Tom. Still, they haven't got the spike down. And Save's crossed over to site, so he's got a nice little angle to play off, but the op not ideal for this 1v2 if they can group up.
The thing is, for once in their lives, Mech actually have time. 40 seconds. Yeah. They don't have to rush this. They don't have to overface. They're even looking like they might just swing this together. He needs to pull out the classic, and yeah, ultimately not going to do enough this time to be able to close things out. Well played in that 2 versus 1. I think there's many sort of isolated duels that definitely could have gone wrong for the other side. Now, though, is where again, already for Guild, you're starting to look at what they can actually play into this next round. Like, can they really do much? I think the only thing I'm going to be looking at is where Safe is playing. Can he get that Blade Storm? If he can, maybe the round swings on his head a little bit. Leo not too far off the Hunter's Fury either, and we know that they can definitely work well with the pistols.
The wall is down on B. They've got an orb there as well. They're going to fight for it. The spams haven't come through even, and they got the trap down a little bit late, so he's out of there. That's a very successful early round. I mean, it's not even really cost them any utility, just a little bit placed down the wall. It still kind of doubles up for its purpose if they want to get aggressive in elbow or anything like that late, which is obviously an option when you've got this Blade Storm. Safe is going to be a little bit willing to, get aggressive into these little nooks and crannies, but he was spotted earlier. Going to start rotating all the way to A. I think he almost assumes that they're going to avoid him now that he has the Blade Storm. Starts that rotate in case they're on their way over. It's a very slow approach from Mech. You can see they're wary of the dangers they could face.
Now, once again, Defo looking to take point, but with the operator, might be a little bit more difficult. Shock Dart actually going to tag them up quite a bit. Now, obviously, they do have the heal available on Shados, but he can't quite heal himself. Coldamenta is going to get legged, and while, again, the spams have at least left a couple of players low. Chance for damage, I would say, is high, and maybe if Safe can go nuclear, they have a chance. Instead, though, Russ, well, he's got a gun. It's not the best of what's there, but he's almost baited in. Nats, this now leaves them with a really good chance.
It absolutely does. Safe's donated the weapon. Now they've got 2 players to be able to actually fight on range on the way back through. The Blade Storm trying to catch someone on the updrafts, but no one's peeking, so in we go, and Leo's just picking him off with a Sheriff. He's grabbed a double already. Shock Dart's coming through. Defo's down to 1. Sheriff out. Let's do it, Leo. Get the triple. No, he's dropped. Defo tucked in on the corner trying to save this weapon, and he will be killed. The op will be retrieved. And somehow they've gotten away with that round, Tom. And, you know, the best part is Coldamenta pops the Viper's Pit on B side, and I'm thinking this guy is absolutely crazy. He then fights outside of it because he gets tagged up, and he's screwed. Viper's Pit lost for nothing. And I'm thinking, wow, that's a really disappointing round for Guild. They're going to be kicking themselves. They come in and win it. All right.
It's just Leo things, isn't it?
I don't know. What's he doing though? He wallbanged 2 people with a Sheriff? What's going on?
He also, I think he damaged up almost everyone else with shock darts as well. Like, it's just absurd. I'd love to see the total amount of damage that Leo did in that round, because I think you're probably looking about 300. While the Blade Storm on the other side, unfortunately, hasn't really been met with much of a response. An attempt to find an opener, but Redguard, he is going to find that kill. 2 ults utilized, and of course, Mr. Shock Dart's back to add another one to the death toll.
It's just stupid. This guy's killing people with Sheriff wall bangs, I presume, off the back of his reveal, and now he's coming through with these shenanigans. Shock Dart kills. Shados down to 1 HP. I imagine that's also going to be Leo. That's ended up doing that. One of those shockies flying through. Wow. 4 versus 3. Mech have to play so slow. And obviously Shados incapable of healing himself up. He's stuck in this position for, I mean, he might just be their spike planter. You probably don't even want him to be. A rogue snakebite coming in is going to take him down.
Mr. Shock Dart.
Yeah, lurking around. He's only fired 1 and he's gotten a kill.
I would be the last person wanting to try and plant at this point, but I guess it's almost going to just be as like a sacrificial lamb. Is there anything they can do? And instead, he's going to pull out the Hunter's Fury. Oh, there goes Shados. And even going to almost find the next player as well. They've managed to section them apart, clear things out. 4 players survive as well after a very aggressive and fast-paced take from Mech. And well, 4-2 up, and now the economy actually becomes quite a big issue for Mech.
I need to start getting access to a stat. I don't know how we will get it, but we will get it for utility damage, which there'd have to be a lot of things like, you know, Viper, you put down a snakebite. Is that utility damage? Even better, Seize, 75 HP down. Is that damage? You know, does it depend if someone follows them to kill, so on. But I would love to see a stat on utility damage, and I reckon Leo would be leading it. Like after this, especially, my God, dude's just popping off at the start of this round. Also, if you recon someone and wallbang them, is that utility damage?
No.
10%?
Look at Defo going. He's just in, again, just trying to take space for the rest of the team. It's almost like they're just ignoring him at this point. I think that's the only way you can really play against Defo. It's just, okay, Defo's over there. Let's just try and focus on where the rest of the team are, because they're going to be the ones most likely to kill us at this stage. He does only get 1. Of course, here comes the shock darts once again.
Spike down, B.
It's actually, it's piss take at this point.
He can't keep getting away with this. It's not allowed. Coldamenta missed the snakebite as well. Didn't even cover the full ground. Now he's just whacking people through the wall, taking them down. All right, well, 5-2. Guild are looking pretty.
I think it's going to be important because I think that's the best way to beat them. Like, adapting on the fly against Guild can work because ultimately they have set themselves up ready for your sort of plays. Well, if you can then adapt on them, you can't really have prepared for that.
One of the difficult things about this Guild team, the amount of information, obviously on the defensive side, they're rocking with, having that cipher, and it's almost used to bait them in. You've got the site covered by trap wires, and they leave the elbow open, so these players can get in around the left side of B. They can push into the back, but the camera's there to spot them. And that's been destroyed, so a little gap of information, but they can still spot it. The operator's actually going to come out here. They're looking to fight on mid. Guild putting 4 players around here to try and get some sight lines and angles to skirmish on, but Mech are falling back immediately. They don't want to pressure top mid anymore. Instead, they're shifting it up to the A side.
Well, they know at least that 1 player's within the back, but the rotations have been incredibly fast. Already 2 players within, another player back, but this might be an oversight. Trek's looking like he's going to come under some serious fire here, but if he can just buy a little bit of time, Mitch, that might be enough.
He still has those trap wires down towards the steps, but no one has a reason to step there, and now Trex has gone down completely. A pick from safe keeps them in it. Still even numbers, but they've got to just delay and wait to get back in here. And as they do, that Viper pit finally comes into play. Leo, no drone to work with, so getting them out of this position. Trailblazer used up as well, Tom. There's not a whole lot for them to grab information with. You're going to be relying on Russ's flashes, possibly the recon of Leo landed in a good spot. It's on the way through already, and, well, it won't be finding anybody. Clearing at the back. Oh, the judge, or not the judge, the shorty, excuse me, safe up close, but he wasn't going in. Defo's still just lurking on the edge of that, ready to blitz out. There he goes, down to the shorty. Oh no, he was so close. Dancing around inside the ult, he just couldn't find anyone.
Oh, God. It's funny as well because Defo, I love the fact that just in that moment he goes, I'm not even going to peek that first tap. I don't even care. Yeah. They're not going to stick it all the way. I'll just sit in. Because realistically, at this point, he's faked it out by throwing a smoke as well. And just Defo's just, yeah, just nerves of steel. Obviously, in the meantime, Shados just decides he's going to kill absolutely everyone else, which definitely helps. As said, like the difference between Shados in the group stage and Shados now, I don't even think it's the same player. It's like a different dude on his PC.
Yeah, he's been looking incredible. And coming into this game exactly the same. I'm excited to see what Chronicle has to offer. This is a little bit of a miss, though. It's a big gap. Oh, safe, though. In trouble. Dashing out of there. He has support. There's a rifle up close, ready to help. Leo catching one, and now another rotation. Coldamenta here to help. 3 players around this position. You've got to be scratching your head if you're Mech right now, wondering how they got so unlucky. And they figured it out. Because the A players just ran away. They went to go and help that mid fight, and well, they've got the advantage now on the retake.
I also don't know if you're going to be expecting an operator to just be waiting at the bottom of mid. Like, you should have the Viper screen to allow you to actually cross. It's just whether or not it's going to be activated. And obviously on the other side, the Mech players are realizing we have to get aggressive here. We have to do something to try and make a move forward. Now, Russ at least seemed like he had a little bit of awareness of a potential flank, and another crazy damage shock dart. Max damage onto Nat, leaves him low, but he still managed to take a second with him as well. He's given Redgar a chance, who's managed to rotate all the way back around. The problem is the spike is not planted for him. He needs a kill almost instantly, and Leo is just going to stick it. He may get pinged, but it's just too little, too late, and he's not even going to survive. Coldamenta will find 3 kills of his own, and Guild will double up their scoreline.
Yeah, having the operator there, you know, it was great for catching that kill on middle, but not for very much else. Spamming through the Viper wall was just never going to happen. 6-3. It's been a very strong performance from Guild, but these sort of little plays, man, where you count Nats out of it. You're like, there's 4 players flooding on him. He gets completely destroyed by a shock dart, max damage, like, and he was barely on the edge of a snake bite there, Tom. Like, he was about to step in it. If that was an inch closer to him, he was dead. And instead, he gets 2 kills. It's unreal. I don't know how Mech have these positions where they're able to pull so much value out of these situations. Oh! 19 HP!
Old shock darts, he would have been dead.
That's 10 rounds in as well, Tom. That's the adaptation. They're like, they hear the snake bite and they're like, shock dart! Run! Like, just get out of here! Instantly. And it still nearly takes them down, but they're healed back up at least, or they can be.
Yeah, weirdly, they haven't really done that yet, but obviously that's because they're actually rotating over, so get into a position where they can at least get some health back. Nat's the only one with a rifle as well, so wouldn't be a player you want to lose. The thing is, though, because of how fast Guild have actually been rotating, and because of Russ's position, they're almost gambling a little bit further away from this A side at the moment, so Mech completely resetting back into position once again is going to give them a real chance to actually get onto the site, although I think Coldamenta's util is going to buy him time to cross.
Well, they know the back is clear. Great flash to grab them the information and not flashing anybody. Is good, so they can cross. Now Coldamenta's just dancing around the pyramid, taking them down. That's fine, because they've only got 10 seconds left to get this plant down. There's a flank underway as well. There's Blade Storm in front of them. They're being shot from every angle. That's, well, that's not ideal. You know, we had a round a while back, Tom, where he said, well, Mac finally got the clock. They actually got time on their side. This time they didn't.
Yeah, it is the thing though that this game mech have been a lot quicker. Like I don't think we're anywhere near the sort of like 15-second executes. This one was just because they were delayed. The initial plan was just rush into the A site. It's almost trying to put that extra pressure on a little earlier on. The thing is though, they have not been winning a lot of opening duels. Like they've come pretty close, but a lot of the time they've been shut out either by utility, as we've seen many a time, those combinations between Coldamenta and Leo. And now things are going to get even tougher because they've been shut out of this B site very early on, at least from the initial entry point.
Okay, that's a good trade. Drone for Dash. Safe. I mean, he's safe. So he's not going to follow this rule. But typically, I would say, now going to have to play a little bit more passive because he can't dash out of an angle. But at least it opens the opportunity for Mag to punish him if he does move towards that more aggressive stance. Viper's pit down on B, though, means it's not really necessary. They've got that site locked down. They've got the mid cross as well, and that's the key thing. Russ here is keeping such important information. If he loses sight over mid for 5 seconds, they can be up and into the spawn. These A players can all die. So Russ has to maintain this control. And it looks like they're reading this as an A play. They were falling for the fake for a moment, or at least they made it sound like it now. They've stepped back in, and Chronicle still wins it. He's made it around the corner. At least it looked like he had. Russ gets 2 from there. You know what I mean, Tom? It's like you look at a position, you go, oh, this guy's dead after he does that. No, gets another. Huge. Oh, Trex?
Oh, wow.
They're all in.
He's just W keyed in. He's almost managed to take 2, but somehow Defo's survived at least a little longer. He's dashing towards his opponent, and surely safe has to make the realization. I don't know where he just looked. Oh, it's almost like he's trying to bait us into pure panic, but
he heard the
he
dash.
gets the kill at the end.
I guess he thought it was an updraft. I don't know. Wow, what a strange world we live in. 8-3 we go. Huge play by Russ in that corner. Again, he was holding very important information. Coldamenta dropped the ball. He shouldn't be getting dropped like that. I don't know how Chronicle was there. Look at this. He had faked the run back seconds ago. Like, Chronicle should have thought that he was towards site. He definitely heard him run to the site and did not hear him run back. But he checks the left corner and kills him. And then Russ is able to kill him and his one of his teammates on the way through, which was way more than he should have gotten.
Yeah. It's also the time that was bought. You see that Trex was basically within the site by the time the other players actually finally went to go for the plant. So, yeah, he almost individually won them that round.
And it was a huge call.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. They're stuck within the tube. And he's going to get one in the end. Of course he does. I don't even know why I doubted it for a second. Shados gone. And already what was a troublesome round to begin with looks a whole lot... Oh, it looks a whole lot worse now. That's the tour de force gone as well.
Yeah, that's a big blow. Defo was trying to recover something with that little updraft play, but he hasn't been able to spot them. And yeah, they can get in and out and pick that spike, sure. A little bit of a risk, but they've at least now recovered it and can start looking towards another site, but they need kills. They need somebody to carve out some space for them, because right now, Tom, they've done sub 50 damage in this round. And, well, Defo's only barely holding on to life.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've taken this space so many times that they either have their fast flank or they just have the information. It makes things so difficult for any sort of space to be taken back in towards the A site without the knowledge of Guild. And then they've just got them basically sandwiched in already. You can see a quick rotation available. The second any sort of plant will be tapped, I'm sure they're just going to start wrapping back around because there's no trap or anything. They'll just have to watch it.
You need to cancel that quickly. Coldamenta was there to cover. It almost serves as a bait. I'm not sure that was necessarily the intention. He's killed and stop. Come on, man. Nat's left alone and he's being revealed. It hit him. It landed on him, Tom. Leo, like,
is there such thing as like util hacks? Because like, I guess it would just be a long way to go.
Yeah, indeed. The 9 rounds is good, but so many teams have fallen into that trap of feeling secure. It's not over once Mech are defending. They've got a heavy stack up towards this A side. Based around this mid aggression for Chronicle, no escape anymore. I think he's still got an anchor to put down, so he's going to keep that with him. Close enough to within range to pop it down. For now, seeing absolutely nothing. And this very patient play by Trex.
I was about to say, I feel like he needed to start rotating back because, yeah, they hadn't spotted anything on the A site. He hadn't seen anything in mid. It only really left one spot open, and it was only a solo defender at one point of Redgar. Now, he is one of the players that's actually invested into a rifle, so I guess they had a little bit more confidence there. But now I'm intrigued to see what Guild do now that they've been denied. Because the whole point is if they manage to get into that B site relatively unseen, maybe they can put some pressure onto Redgar, maybe they steal a Bulldog, yada yada. But now it falls back where information is known. They've had to almost just give up everything that they sort of retain. There's still a trap down and still 2 players on the B site. And, well, they got 20 seconds.
Well, it's going to be the B side hit. The roaming headhunter from earlier. Now positioned, ready and waiting for them, but the shots aren't landing. And in fact, it's Rust to take him down. That spike being planted, and Redgar falls a shock dart at his feet just moments after. And although Rust dies, the spike has been planted, the damage done. Guild now get to sit back and wait for Mech to fall into their arms, to come running into them. And they've got a man running up behind as well. It's Trex on his super late flank. He's had a patient game, watching his camera, making sure no one came behind his enemy team. Ah, no! That's a big whiff. Leo's down as well, and it's all on the Coldamenta. Classic in hand, no utility to play around on this one, and a headshot with a Classic. Not enough. A sliver of HP, but it's all the difference for Mech.
Don't even start that shit here.
They should have won that round.
Threaten getting them
They're
into
actually
sight.
not buying.
I'm seeing
So before we paused, it was actually an investment of a Vandal in for Chronicle, but they've decided not to go for it. Now, Redgar's the only one with an ult even remotely close, and it means that they've got to play basically ridiculously aggressive. Look at where the defenders currently are. They're on a full wraparound. It's being watched, though. Leo is ready for this, but he doesn't connect. Shadows finding that kill is big. Can they actually kill off Coldamenta? They can.
Well, I bet they wish they had that rifle now. Invested a little bit more in themselves, but they're still in a great spot to get into this. 5v3, lots of security, and they've spotted Trex. He's using his util to fall back. He's spraying away. Some risks being taken here, and Mech, well, they're happy to capitalize on those little mistakes, the little bits of space given to them. Now saves in a 1v5. He's being wallbanged and pre-fired. No chance to get out of that alive. And the round goes to Mech. A strong defense this most certainly is, even without weapons.
As said, put the party poppers away. It's never done. And that was just ridiculous from Mech. The push through, I do think that Leo should have got that first kill, but you look at every other duel and you probably could have said something similar. They just managed to trade out so effectively, work in these sort of duo setups, and just swing together. I think that's something Mech, when they're synergized, do maybe better than anyone. Definitely within the top teams. So the fact that they've now brought this back, 9-6, 3 rounds of the difference. They've had a huge boost in economy. Like the second they wanted the operators online, anything extra they can basically invest into in the next round. And now they get to play up against the pistols.
The drone coming in here, directly countering that information coming out of Guild. They were spotting out the B site, trying to apply the pressure. And now the drone goes through and it doesn't see them at all, I think. They were waiting back a little bit, and it's from backside. I think it did stop just about in main. For Mech, there's a complete absence of any information to work with here. I'm almost feeling like that this is where normally next couple seconds one of you wants to be trying to grab that little bit of an info spot, and that's it right mid. They're coming out. They peeked it from both angles now, from the connector and from spawn. They know that's clear. So Defo goes back to Halls, but somehow Safe is winning that with just a Sheriff.
2 off Bladestorm. I'd assume there's no longer an orb for him to retrieve, but if there is, well, that'll be a huge boost. Again, though, the time is the main issue, but look at the rotations. They've got this completely wrong. There's absolutely nobody currently within the site. Even though they seem to have made the realization the cross should be held, and although there's going to be a swing out from Redgar, he's too little too late. They're going to have a plant.
They've got that perfectly. A well-timed fake, you know, even though Meg realized pretty quickly it's such a big map, they couldn't rotate. And there's still a lurk out of Trex, who's coming behind Halls now. And as some players have dropped, he's running, now being heard, so Nats knows he's going to cut him off. And the rest of the players, they know they don't need to worry about the back necessarily. That's why Trex is sprinting. It went crazy. He's won it still, though. He potentially has an angle here if he can get up through the tube, and he's already caught Shados. They know that the defuse is not underway, and they can just run this down a little bit more.
Oh, somehow Coldamenta actually denies it. It's going to come back into the 1 versus 1. I don't know if there's anything he could do to stop this, though. Maybe not realizing it's half, but just about. This time, the flank of Trex is sublime, as he will catch a triple and, more importantly, win them around. It's a costly one, but ultimately for them, they were just saving anyway, so they can invest right back in. They've broken mech, but as said, there was a lot of bank for this squad to play with. It was 1 bullet.
The smallest amount of HP, the difference made there. Wow. And a great round from Trex. His lurk up through Halls. He starts sprinting. I thought 0% chance this works out. Nats is waiting for him, and when Nats is waiting for you and he knows you're coming, yeah, good luck to you. But that good luck prevailed. Now 10-6 on the board. That's all the guild need. Just chip away at these rounds slowly but surely, and it will be actually relatively quickly if they can win this one here. That said, Bladestorm and Tour de Force potentially online next round, so there's no eco.
There's nobody currently on the B side of the map, and they know it. They can start just quickly rotating in because of the Seekers. The shot dart combo again. You can just see Redgar is just trying to hide in the corner, and he's actually not been checked properly, but the flash is good enough. Russ will eventually clear. Again, they found the opener in onto the site, but this time they have weapons and an afterplant.
Snake bite through from Nats. Gonna allow him to close up the distance, make sure no one peeks from close. And, this is kind of good. 2 HP left on Coldamenta. He's got to play super far back, but now the heal comes through. Russ still had that in the back pocket. Cold right back up to 100, and he can step back into his ult without fear of the spam taking him down. A stray bullet, and now the bullets, well, they won't be stray. They're going to come right at him. These players already on the site. They're potentially diffusing. Coldamenta might want to start running in there soon. He's gone down. A big play from Chronicle around the outside. Good for the first 4 kills. Not even gotten it all the way, and now all that's left is to defuse. The time is going to be tight, though.
No,
it's going to come close.
They haven't got it. They haven't got it.
Oh! A quarter of a second! And that's enough to get Guild 11.
He just aced the round running into cave. The man aced the round running into cave and didn't win. That's so absurd. That was a 1-man retake. The rest of his teammates playing in a Viper's pit, and I can only assume they managed to kill the player who was actually defusing. I think it might have been Shados who was the one that actually went for it. And they killed Defo. Trex kills Defo. That was the problem. You had 2 people defending and 2 people try to defuse. Both the defusers killed. And then, unfortunately, even with the ace, it was irrelevant. Guild picked their moment. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And what a round for it. As we said, you've still got quite a bit to play with here. Over on the mech side, we've even seen the operator out for Defo. He has a Bladestorm. You've got the Tour de Force, and these weapons, well, they're firing off, Tom. You're hearing the shots. But, well, there's no connections. And now the spike's being planted. Guild are in the site. They've got a wall to cover, and they're on their way right back out of here. And Hunter's Fury has found nothing. And the Seekers might even buy them a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra space, and also lets them know the flank is secure. Oh my god. Nice shot by Nats. Great snake bite. Good follow-up from Defo. They're winning all the duels.
It looks like they're right back into this one right again. You still have a couple of players left. Russ and Trex. 2 versus 5. Back to 2v2. Hiding at the back of sight, but Redgar will drop another. It's left all onto Trex. He's holding that cross. Another insta headshot, and look how low Shados is. It has to be a connection with the op, and it will be, but there's no time again. They've run out of time for the 2nd round in a row, Mitch.
And he needs that operator. Away we go. There was no risk to be taken.
my
12 to 6. Guild are winning these rounds in a frankly unreasonable manner. We're coming close to the end now. Mech investing so much into that previous round as well, Tom. They dumped their credits, they dumped their ults, they tried to pull it across the line, and you know what? They looked like they were just about to get it.
So, Guild are currently out clutching Mech. That's the world we live in. That's the adaptation. That's the sort of improvement that this team has had. They always seem to choke in these games, and right now they're having the biggest rounds of their entire lives.
They're coming in here though with Bulldogs, with Spectres. There's disadvantages for the attacking side of Guild. The Blade Storm might make up for that. In fact, it doesn't. But Trex is wall banging their way to success. Nats was spotted earlier, and he actually got hit up there, tagged and taken down. The shock dart assist. It's so strong, but Leo needs to do a little bit more because they haven't got the spike planted. And there's players on the way back into the site. Good tag, found, and he'll get him. A Hunter's Fury kill, blind at the doors. And of course it's Leo to win out that fight. Look who's up close. Safe's got another, Tom. I think this map is locked in. And I think Mech are locked out. This is unbelievable. This is their map choice, their defensive side. And they've got practically nothing to say. A clutch needed by Redguard to even attempt an OT. He's being watched by Trex up close. This man's been on fire, and he'll get the triple to close it out. 13 to 6. Guild did not come here to play around. They came here to win, and they have done that.